Howdy, folks. I'm Cheery Cherry Blossom, cheerfully cheering on cheeky chickadees.
I'm Amber.
And here are more cheeky chickadees for us to cheer on. We'll just do, like, chickadee-dee-dee, and that means we're rooting for you. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Make My Niece a Doll Like Her Sisters? I'm a 26-year-old female and I have no kids, but my oldest brother has 2 daughters. The oldest is now 7 and the younger one just turned 5. I love both of them a lot and I'm not blind. As someone who grew up with siblings, it's often clear that the oldest daughter, ON, is the golden child. She gets whatever she wants, no matter how expensive it is, and is always showered with praise for her pageants and singing. My younger niece is very shy, but she is still very sweet and enjoys things like reading and animals. Recently, my younger niece has been feeling bad about herself. I asked her why, and she told me it was because she didn't like the color of her hair. She's got auburn curls. She was sad because everyone always said how pretty her sister's hair was, which was a very light blonde and straight. It got so bad that apparently she tried to cut it off, which her mom just laughed off as a childhood mishap. When I was over at my brother's house, I noticed that the two were playing with dolls. Older niece had a very nice Barbie, while the younger niece had what looked like a short, cheap Walmart knockoff. I asked why, and the mom said that it was because she couldn't find a doll with red hair. This made me upset because 1, the doll's hair is bright red, which is not her color, and 2, it was extremely different quality. I said nothing, but when it was the younger niece's birthday, I took some action. For months, I researched making dolls and restoring. I took a Barbie and I replaced her hair with some that matched hers and painted the eyes. I then hand-sewed several custom outfits and I gave each a blue whale theme, her favorite animal. As a cosplayer, this wasn't very hard to do. On her birthday, younger niece was ecstatic, but her sister was obviously not. I didn't pay attention to her, instead focusing on making sure that the younger niece liked her gifts. But only a few days later, her parents called me, telling me that I needed to make the older niece a doll as well. I said that I would get her one her next birthday. They said no, it needed to be immediately because she was upset that her sister's doll was customized unlike her store-bought ones, and was mad that the younger niece wouldn't share. I told them again that it was a project and that I would make one next year. They both accused me of not caring about the older niece's feelings. I got mad, saying that neither of them cared about being fair when younger niece was playing with a troll doll that was supposed to look like her. This was a gift meant to make younger niece feel special, and I wasn't going to cheapen it because older niece was pouting. I hung up, but started to wonder, am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. It is good on you, OP, to recognize that your younger niece is being neglected and to do something really sweet for her. I know that older niece is a child and it's not her fault, but she has to learn that, things are not always going to go her way. She's not always going to get the best of everything.
Yeah.
And it's so cruel what the parents are doing because, okay, we couldn't find a Barbie with red hair.
Really?
You go online, like even if your local Walmart magically doesn't have a Merida doll or a red-haired Barbie, go online on Amazon and you will find red-haired Barbies aplenty. This was clearly just some bogus excuse to give her cheap products.
Yeah.
And it just frustrates me so much that there's this blatant favoritism going on, and what that's going to do, the poor younger niece's self-esteem, like it's already hurting her so much.
Yeah, I do worry about this because she's taking actions that are pretty extreme, like trying to chop off her hair because she's really unhappy with who she is, right? And this is, some kind of dysmorphia at this point in time that they've kind of pushed her into. And I think that that's a really tragic thing because she's going to grow up with body image issues if the parents aren't careful and don't start treating her as an equal to her sister. She's always going to feel like she's second rate or second place.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm worried about too is like if OP, it might be a good idea to have a second doll on hand for younger niece because I'm really concerned that older niece is going to get upset and destroy it, and the parents aren't going to do anything about it, and they're probably going to shame younger niece for it because that sounds like the type of people they are.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that that isn't the case.
I hope not. I hope not.
But I agree. I think that this is a legitimate concern and that OP might be worthwhile having a second doll in the wings just in
Mm-hmm.
case. And then when the parents, are like, oh, where's the older niece's birthday present? You can just be like, well, since the older niece broke the other toy, I spent all the time trying to remake the new one, so I didn't have time to make her a customized doll.
And like, if the favor system is this obvious, I'm wondering how far it extends into the family. Like, are other family members participating, or are they bystanders? Is there any way to have an intervention with sister and brother-in-law to be like, hey, we can see that you are seriously mistreating your younger child. Like, you need to work on this. Like, is there anyone who can help get through to them? Like, it doesn't seem like they listen to OP or care about what she has to say, but maybe there's a more influential family member.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like OP hasn't said anything up until this point, and it could be that they didn't want to rock the boat, so to speak. But I do think that it's good that they've said something now.
Mm-hmm.
But they may not, the parents may not have realized how unequally they were treating the kids, as bizarre as that sounds. I feel like they should be aware of that, though.
They should be. They should be. Like, how do you get one child like everything she wants, the other cheap knockoffs, and not realize there's a disparity? I know
Yeah,
parents do it and don't necessarily realize, but I don't get it.
yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, My girlfriend, 22-year-old female, knows nothing about history and it upsets me. I'm a 21-year-old male. What should I make of this? And Amber wants to read this one.
I'm a 21-year-old male and I've been dating my girlfriend, a 22-year-old female, for about 4 months, and I love her very deeply already. She is endlessly kind, fun, loving, and weird in all the ways that I am. She's also very passionate about the field she's interested in, as I am. I feel like I can tell her anything. She's becoming my best friend. She also knows nothing about history or culture. She doesn't know Genghis Khan, Mao, Machiavelli, Joan of Arc, Cicero, Xi Jinping. She thought Game of Thrones was a board game. She thought Breaking Bad was about baking. She didn't know what a sorcerer was. She doesn't know basic vocabulary words. And it is driving me up a wall. I know I sound like a jerk, and maybe I am, but I think it's really important to know who the most important people in the world history are. She's very smart, better than me at mental math, financially literate, super knowledgeable about the nonprofit world and about American Jewish religion. But I don't understand how someone can miss all these major markers in education and then act like they are all unimportant, as if no one knows who Alexander the Great is. The problem is not that she isn't smart enough or isn't intellectual enough for me. The problem is that I firmly believe that without a working knowledge of the most influential people and movements in world history, we are unable to ask meaningful questions about the world today. She likes to ask questions about financial institutions and their impacts on identity. I think these kinds of questions would be enhanced 1,000-fold with the knowledge of how that played out through history and would ground her interests. So I'm concerned that she is uninformed and this will impact her personal and intellectual flourishing. My question is, what should I make of this? I love spending time with her too much for this to matter, but for some reason it really bugs me. What should I make of this?
Alright folks, what do you think?
Let it go. Everyone has things they know more about and things they know less about. And I understand this seems really important to OP. And I'm not saying it's not important to know about world history, but I really don't think knowing who Alexander the Great is will enhance her knowledge of the financial sector. Like, I feel like OP is really, really stretching here the significance of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I say this as someone who does not know a lot about historical figures. Probably my only knowledge of Alexander the Great comes from some of the memes, like from memes and one topic videos, and that's about it.
I know a lot about Alexander the Great and a lot of other historical figures, but I don't ever try forcing Amber to learn any of these things. And I mean, I don't know that it shapes or founds my knowledge to a significant level where I feel like someone who doesn't know these things are missing out. I think that they're just levels of interest, right? Like, sure, you should know certain historical events because, like, history, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it, type of thing, right? But I think that there are a lot of general lessons from life that you can take away, and I think that certainly there are always going to be people who know more or less, like what Amber is saying about, and have different levels of knowledge, but that doesn't make them a bad person. And she just sounds like she's hyper focused on very particular things and wants to explore those areas, those intellectual areas. And I think that that's really what this boils down to. Maybe you two have some incompatibilities if you feel like she can't meet your intellectual needs in conversation and whatnot.
Right. Like if you're not going to be happy in this relationship unless she changes, then it's not the right relationship with you. Like you either have to make peace with her as she is or accept that you need someone who is well versed in history and move on and find someone else who is.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of a sign that OP really needs to consider what they value in a relationship and in a person and say take some time to grow and reflect. And if they realize that this is going to just eat away at them and they can't deal with this, then this isn't the relationship for you. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, then our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Revealing at Dinner that I am the one who makes more money? A little bit of context for this post. I'm a 33-year-old female and I've been dating my partner, a 34-year-old male, casually for 3 years and 8 months. Over the last 8 months, we have gotten more serious. He works in IT and I only work behind bars in a strip club, and he seems to always assume that I make much less than him. He'd always say that he never wanted us to discuss money as he didn't want me to feel embarrassed. So I never brought it up as I didn't care, even if I found it a bit funny, despite the fact that I own both my car and home while he is renting and paying off his car. I like him though, so I brushed it aside, figuring that we would either move in together and then we could talk about our finances and be open about it. Despite him thinking that I only work behind the bar, I'm actually a mixologist at a high-end strip club. So on top of a very generous salary, I actually make amazing tips most nights too. I've worked at the same place for 9 years and I love it there. As things are getting more serious, he wanted me to meet his parents and I agreed. Yesterday, we had a dinner with his parents and they clearly didn't approve of me. And during this dinner, his mom brought up that she didn't think that this was a good idea, but if he was insisting on doing this when we got married, we would need to have a prenup agreement to protect her son. I was silent, waiting for my partner to say anything, but he didn't. He just continued to eat and I got annoyed before agreeing with her. I told her I fully agree that we needed a prenup, as I needed to protect my assets. This led to some laughs from around the table, and I finally asked my boyfriend how much he made. He tried to brush it off before finally revealing that he made £25,000 a year and telling me that it was fine and not to feel less. I won't lie. I burst out laughing right there at the table, not caring if I was being rude. And I bluntly told him, not including tips, I make £43,291 a year, and they didn't believe me, so I began pointing out how I go on holiday twice a year, how I own my own home and car while he rents and is paying off, how I always bought him nice things, and then I told him, perhaps for the 100th time, that I'm a mixologist and not a bartender. The dinner got silent, and on the drive home, he berated me for the entire time for embarrassing him, and how could I have not told him that I make that much money, and that I should have told him from the start. I reminded him that he didn't want us to talk about money, and I figured that if and when we moved in together, that we would talk about finances then. He kept talking about how I should have just privately told him after the dinner, and not embarrassed him in front of his parents, but when I asked him why that he didn't defend me, when his mother embarrassed me, he had no answer. I don't know, I'm just super annoyed right now, and I feel like I'm done with this. Was I wrong to reveal it the way I did? Alright folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. And I would seriously question the whole relationship over this. The way he just let his mom, like, basically act like you're a gold digger and did absolutely nothing. The way he's very dismissive. Like, it seems like he constantly has this idea that OPO is just a little bartender. And not that salary is everything, right? Like, you don't have to make a lot of money to be valuable as a person. But the whole way that he just lets his parents degrade her, and it's just didn't do anything. It says a lot about him as a person.
Yeah, I'm wondering where they are living. I mean, I know they're using pounds here.
People speculated Scotland in the comments.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I don't know what the cost of living is for wherever they're living at, but apparently that's a good amount of money for where they're living. And I think that this is one of those situations where he kind of got what was coming to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was messing around. He was assuming that he was a hot shot, and he wasn't, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I think OP's right here, right? OP didn't want to discuss this stuff because it was something that he didn't want to talk about. I do find it odd that they're only now meeting the parents after almost 4 years.
Well, it sounds like they were not serious for the first three. So it could have just been like a situationship or friends with benefits or anything like that. It sounds like the last 8 months they've been serious.
I see. So this is basically like an 8-month relationship at this point in time, and then they're going to be moving in together and stuff like that. I think that the everyone else is kind of just now getting a taste of their own medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just desserts here.
I think so too. And I mean, again, like either he's been kind of like very talking OP down to his parents to give them this impression, or they're just very stuck up people to begin with. I don't know which one it is, but neither one is necessarily a great situation.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Employer, my company is looking for responsible people to help repair computers. Mr. Brown, hey, I'd be perfect. In my last job, every time something went wrong with the computers, I was responsible.
Yes. Yes. And I have Mega Mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for watching. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on playing favorites.
Don't
play favorites. That's some good moral advice. At least for with your kids, right?
Yes. There are times to play favorites, but with your children is not one of them.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Howdy, folks. I'm Cheery Cherry Blossom, cheerfully cheering on cheeky chickadees. Let's do that one more time. Howdy, folks. I'm Cheery Cherry Blossom, cheerfully cheering on Howdy, folks. I'm Howdy, folks. I'm Now I can't say any of the words.